Good evening, guys. How are you guys going tonight?
Good. Work. Just came home. Yeah, just another night in the suburbia of Perth, I guess.
I know. What are you guys doing for work when you aren't playing black metal?
Yeah, nothing very black metal.
I suppose that'll be a whole different conversation. Like, what is that? But
I don't know what a black metal job is.
Yeah.
I work in IT.
Wow, that's very on black metal, I suppose.
Black metal is a good respite
for sure.
Yeah, from the mental anguish of IT.
Fantastic. What about you, Alora? What are you doing?
I work in retail.
Which is very black metal too.
Yeah. Well, I've sort of, based on some of the photos that I've seen on your Facebook page, I assume it would be probably a little bit scary to come in and have a look at someone working in retail that's wearing all the makeup that you guys have on when you're playing. It looks a bit scary there.
Perth is not a very black metal-y kind of town.
Well, there's been some black metal. It's like kind of like patches.
Yeah, there's great bands, but it's not what you think of when you think of, black metal. So there's no cold forests and, snowy mountains and things like that. There's just endless suburbia and shopping centers and beaches. Beaches aren't black metal. You can't go to the beach in black metal.
To me, black metal, which is something I'd love to have your views on as well. To me, black metal is like it's probably as gloomy and as dark as it can get, sort of within the metal genre. So I'm really sort of keen to hear a bit more about inspirations and sort of how to come up with this genre and this musical expression.
So the band started about 2 years ago, and it was formed by Alora, Derek, the drummer, and previous guitarist who isn't in the band anymore. They were this is Alora's first band, but the other guys were sort of veterans from Perth scene in other heavy projects, hardcore, death metal, thrash, punk, that sort of thing. And I think they just wanted to do something a little bit different. Obviously they were, very much into a lot of the earlier black metal stuff for probably the last 20-25 years. And just do something that's a little bit different maybe for Perth. Although, as Laura said, there's been a steady stream of a few bands. There's not a huge scene for black metal in Perth probably for the last 20 years. You probably get 2 or 3 bands popping up at once, but you never have sort of 10 or 20 like you might have in some of the other genres.
No, but I mean, like if you have like a 4-band gig, then you've had patches of like lots of 4-band gigs with like a few good bands over the years. And yeah, I mean, like it's good. Like if you want to go out and see local bands, that's all you really need.
So they formed about 2 years ago. There's a bit of a lineup change at the start of this year. We've had this lineup now for about a year. Started gigging just at the end of last year. Things got put on hold for COVID a bit, and just sort of finishing off the year with a set of gigs, obviously releasing the new EP. In terms of musical influences, I don't know. For me, black metal's very interesting musically. You can do a lot of things in it that you can't do necessarily in other metal genres. As I said, it's very bleak. There's a lot of melody. You can do a lot of different structures. I find it harkens back to a bit of classic metal in a way, almost. Like it's almost like going back to the olden days of Iron Maiden and Venom and Bathory and that sort of stuff. There's not as much emphasis on production and I don't know what the word is. Not song as such, but it's a lot more stripped back in terms of the music. So you can focus a lot more on melodies and riffs and things like that, rather than, which is great, and I love heaps of different stuff, but rather than songs with hooks and choruses and catches and things like that, which is also cool. But you can make
you want to convey a feeling.
There's the melody and atmosphere and stuff, which to me sort of goes back to a bit of some of the other sort of classic metal and power metal and things like that, which I was very much into thrash and death and stuff like that, which are great and awesome and love it. And they're very much about power and brutality and that sort of stuff. It's good to sort of strip stuff back to melody and atmosphere and things like that. So that's a big kind of like where I'm coming from in terms of why I've been writing a lot of black metal recently.
Fantastic. So I how are you writing the songs? Is that predominantly you that come in with the riff, or is it something you do as a band?
Yeah, look, the band sort of comes together. We'll come together with some riffs or a partially formed song and work on them and develop them into sort of our style. I found even if I write something, it changes a lot. We transform it into our thing, which is a little bit unique.
Well, it's usually you have an idea and you write something first, and then we add to it and we change it.
Yeah, because we're kind of coming from different backgrounds. Some of us are a bit older, some of us are a bit younger. We've got different influences. We kind of transform things a bit into the prism of maybe not quite traditional black metal, but there's a bit of influences of other stuff like death, thrash, classic heavy metal. Some of the songs are even a bit raw and rocky, even sort of. So we kind of transformed them into that. I read a review the other day, and they said we were kind of like a black metal pub band, which I thought was a
nice.
Good. And it's quite organic and. I wouldn't say raw in the traditional black metal sense, like the old Norwegian harsh raw, but very stripped back. It's like a live-ish band that plays, and we just sort of like do our thing and sort of transform what we're doing into our thing.
Awesome. Again, look, like black metal, as I mentioned before, like to me is a little bit of an unexplored scene. Like, and it's nothing I've actually never listened to. So I'm really sort of curious to get a little bit more of an insight to the black metal world. So for instance, like in regards to, like, you mentioned some influences before, like who would be some of the bigger players in the black metal scene?
Like my influences are mainly the sort of second wave of Norwegian black metal. So the big normal sort of mainstream-ish black metal names, Emperor, Immortal, Darkthrone, Burzum. I listen to a little bit of newer stuff like Migwa and some other bands like that. Not from any reason like I'm stuck on those. There's so much stuff now. There's just so many bands, and yeah, I don't know. When you get a bit older, you have your sort of set things, and you're going back and exploring those a lot more now, sort of 20 years later. And that just kind of fills up my my playlist more than anything these days. I hear a lot of newer stuff, which is awesome. And I'll sort of put it on my to-do list, but haven't quite got there yet as much as I'd like. But aside from, so look, if I was going to recommend where to start, I would start there.
Yep.
Those sort of first early 90s the first sort of Norwegian bands that sort of came out. Satyricon, Immortal, really big Emperor fan from the first few albums. They're like highly complex, melodic, almost symphonic, really different and original, like sort of not quite metal even. You know, they're not like anything that sort of came before them in terms of the bridge from death metal and thrash metal sort of thing. Those are a really good place to start, and it's a little bit of an acquired taste. The production on a lot of those albums is really raw. But once you get past that, that's probably where you'd start. And then you've got 20 years to transverse over that, it's a lot of stuff to cover.
So what is it, for instance, like you mentioned before that you had a review that where people called you like more of like a pop black metal band.
Black metal pop band.
Yeah. What is that you guys are doing that then might stand out a little bit versus some of the more traditional black metal?
I think
like giving room for all the instruments is like one thing he mentioned.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, like that's something that's important to me. Like I feel like.
Yeah, we didn't, like when we went and recorded the EP, we didn't want it to sound bad. And I not that there's anything bad or wrong with those raw albums from the 90s, but it wasn't us, I think, you know, they were recreating a sound and stuff that was for them at the time, and that wasn't kind of us. We wanted to capture what we were, give everything a space and a place, make all the elements clear and be heard, but we didn't polish anything. It was almost like a live demo. Like we went in for a couple of weekends and recorded the drums and recorded the vocals and recorded the guitars, and it's what came out, and that was kind of it. So I think that's kind of where that live band, like what you hear is kind of like what you would hear from us, and we just wanted to keep it very simple and honest, and a good representation of what we were.
Right. Okay. So you have still sort of tracked like multi-tracked it, like you said, like you did the drums first and the bass guitar and like layered it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But we didn't go crazy. We didn't layer 20 guitars. We didn't put drum triggers on it. We didn't send it away to get, you know, mixed and mastered by awesome people who are awesome, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we just wanted something that was us, and sounded like us. And if you turned up to a gig, that would be us. Or you turned up to our rehearsal, that was us. It was just what we were. What came out in the studio, we just recorded it. There were no overdubs. We left some mistakes in there. No click tracks. Just we played and that was it.
Yeah, I think it's like a little more room, a little more time than the first album, though. Still.
Yeah, we spent a lot. I think especially the prep.
Yeah,
I think we prepared for this album quite a lot, so we really rehearsed and practiced and knew what we were doing before we went in. So prior, I think for the other album, kind of stretched a bit looking for a sound, whereas this one we just sort of came and did what we were. So yeah, I think that's where that sort of the rock and roll pub band comes from. That sort of stripped back, open, honest sort of sound.
Fantastic. So in this one here, you've decided on making an EP this time around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got trapped by COVID and we couldn't write anymore. So there was almost a sixth song, but we didn't quite get it together in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stretched it to 5, but we just weren't quite ready. We lost sort of 3 months over lockdown.
So like the rehearsal spaces weren't even open for a little while.
That's it.
We were actually going to start the recording the first weekend that WA went into lockdown. And we were talking to the studio, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's okay. We think it's okay." And then that week, they went, "Oh, nah, I think it's all over."
Yeah.
And so we had to wait 3 months to come back. So yeah, so that was an EP. It was okay. It was 25 or 6 minutes, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, some pretty a couple of long songs on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the cool things. We try to stretch it out a bit. We've got a lot of different influences, as I said, doom, classic, metal, a bit of death vocals. Laura's got very wide range from squeaks and howls to growls. So we try and pack a little bit of stuff into the songs rather than, just have them sort of straightforward. Try and incorporate a few different styles and make them go on a little bit of a journey. So that pads things out a bit. A good doomy bit for a couple of minutes. That'll always, pad the song out, which is nice.
And I saw on your Facebook page as well. There's a very sort of well documented studio experience. Like you've been really good at sort of taking a lot of photos from the recordings there. How was the whole recording process?
Our drummer Derek is very
pedantic,
very very into social media and recording things.
Awesome.
Yeah, we don't quite have the enthusiasm that he does, which is good that he's got it, because otherwise we probably wouldn't do much on it. I know I wouldn't. Look, the recording process, very quick and straightforward. It was almost like an old school demo, in the olden days when bands would save up and hit their first studio for a weekend, you know what I mean, and then release a tape, and that's what you got, warts and all. Kind of, well, for me, I wanted to do something like that. I didn't want to make it didn't want to pretend that it was a full professional release. Yeah. We did it in 3 days.
No, 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days. Yeah.
We did
2 and then came back for 1.
Yeah, so we fully recorded Sacrificial Sun and then recorded all the drums for everything. From the bass for everything, came back on another weekend and recorded the rest of the guitars and the rest of the vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
about 3 days, just layering things down like that. Again, no overdubs, nothing special. The producer who recorded us did a pretty rough but really nice mix, and we just went with that. So the whole thing,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Again, it's like, it sounded good. It was us. We thought it was cool. We just went with it.
And what sort of response have you got besides the pop interview? You were talking, the review we're talking about with the black pop metal.
Yeah, black pop metal. I like. Yep. I like that. It's a good tag. Good. Very good. Surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, response has been really positive. A lot of people like it. We did our launch gig about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. It was it was really good. There was a lot of people there. A lot of people came up to me and were like, "Oh, I think it's amazing. You're really passionate," and all this kind of really, really good drunk enthusiasm, almost
We got 200 people to the launch, I think, which was really good for a
that's really good.
Yeah,
gigs have been really good since COVID, which is really nice. A lot of people are coming out and about, which I think is good, because
it's great.
We were stuck at home for a while.
I think people have kind of gotten a new enthusiasm for metal because they've been stuck so long, and like it's good for everybody, really. Like everybody's got to get out there and like, yeah.
It's also like it's worked out really well for all the local bands because of the hard borders. Like no one else can come over here. So if you want to go out and listen to some live music, it kind of has to be some of the local acts.
Yeah, but we did a release as well on RTR for Critical Mass, which was really nice of them. So went and had an interview, played 4 songs. Bandcamp's been ticking over. Generally, people really happy. There's a lot of bands now, so that's the main. It's still hard as a young band to get noticed and get people to just know that you're there. But the people that do are really appreciative, which is really nice, and that's a really good start.
Yeah.
So how are you finding the overall music scene in Perth? Because as we spoke about earlier as well, like you usually go on like a mixed roster, so there's be like 3, 4, 5 bands on the same night. How are you finding the whole sort of setup and the camaraderie and stuff like that?
That's been great. Even though, black metal is somewhat of an acquired taste and a bit on the fringe of metal in general, but we've had no issues playing with anyone and everyone. We did a gig with rock bands.
I've seen that, yeah.
And they were really supportive, and I mean, we like music from everything and anything, so we're happy to play with people and enjoy and support them too. We were quite surprised the rock crowd and people liked it. I think if you're out there and you're doing your thing and people see it and it's genuine, you're enjoying it, and people can see that, I think they're generally very receptive. At the end of the day, it's Perth. We're all just out there having fun and enjoying ourselves, and I think people really appreciate that you're putting in the effort and enjoying it with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many good bands in Perth. Like I said, like a lot of the bands I've been speaking with over the last couple of months, like this, it's phenomenal.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit older, so I was sort of I left Perth and moved over east and was in bands in sort of the 90s. And, we probably had 10 or 20 bands, in terms of metal bands to see. And really probably only 10 of those were sort of active, mainly. And now, I've sort of been following the scene for a few years now, and I'm still finding bands I've never heard of. I didn't even know they exist. There's probably 100 metal bands easy in Perth now.
Yeah.
And the standard is just so good. Like what used to be, you'd be like, oh my God, these people are amazing. Surely they will get a record deal and become famous. Almost everyone's like that now. Which sort of sucks because we won't get famous or whatever, because there's a lot of people and, but it is what it is. But it's great to just get out there and see them and, just find new bands and stuff like that. And yeah, so.
But it's so funny though to have this chat as well about having, getting a deal and getting famous and stuff, because it sort of seems to me that record deals aren't that important anymore because you have the internet. You just gotta, have your social media drummer sort of doing all the hard work.
Yeah.
It just means you've got to do everything yourself. But that's okay.
Yeah.
No, that was a very 90s thing to think and say that we're going to get awesome, which I'm sure when we were 20 years old, we all thought that. We're all older. We've all got day jobs and lives and families or not and everything else. As I said, I think that's part of what makes the gigs so good now, is because everyone does have their normal lives and their day-to-day, and we're all just going out there and doing what we enjoy to do, either playing in a band or seeing a band or catching up with people. And so everyone's very just nice and friendly and appreciative of it when you do go out there, which is good.
Yep. So is that the what do you call it? Is that the goal? Just to keep doing that, to have your day jobs and go out and play some fun shows from time to time? Because you got some pretty good gigs lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some we're pretty busy over the next 3 months.
We've got a gig like 3 weekends in a row now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really do. We do.
I thought it was only 2.
No, it's free.
There you go.
Have you looked?
Better make sure you don't double book.
Yeah. Yeah, look, we're just looking forward to getting through these gigs for the next few months. We'll probably record something mid next year again. We were talking to some promoters to go over east and maybe go to Japan and Europe before COVID.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's a lot more than just a little hobby on the weekends.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like it's a holiday with gigs.
Yeah. That's a perfect way of putting it. Yeah.
No one's expecting to make heaps of money out of it or anything like that, but it's a great experience. Have some fun and have a really good time. So we'll wait and see how that plans out. I think the main thing is just to make music.
Yeah.
So we've just got a lot of stuff, I think, to write and record, and whatever happens after that happens. And I think everyone's happy with that. So, if some things come, that's fine. But I think we'll just keep making music and writing it and recording it and putting it down till it runs out.
Well, that's again, it's a great way of doing it, because like the most important thing is just that everybody's on the same page. Everybody sort of wants the same thing. But it sounds awesome. I'd love to hear a bit more about that whole Japan and Europe stuff, because that's obviously fantastic if something like that has been on the cards. How did that come up?
We did a gig for the Perth Whacking competition. So subsidy of the whacking gigs, and they did a round in each one. And after that, the promoters reached out to some of the bands and said, we're thinking about organizing some Japan tours. Anyone's interested? And quite a few bands were interested, so they were looking at sort of organizing some stuff for that. Europe wasn't quite as nailed down just yet. In terms of the East Coast,
like the East Coast, like it would have been quite easy to do before, but not now, not until
no. Yeah, we've got connections and stuff with other bands and stuff like that. So, we've had a few people over east since the album say, we'd really like you to come over and play. So, hopefully that comes back on the cards. But just see.
Look, I think that might be one of the strengths, as you mentioned before. If there weren't that many black metal bands, then that would put you in a niche where, again, you might be one of the more sought after bands. So again, if you mentioned before, like if there were like 100 metal bands or something like that, and only very few black metal bands, then again, you might be like a bigger fish in a smaller pond, if you know what I mean.
There's quite a few black metal bands in Perth and over east. A lot of them don't play live or tour or do much. A lot of them are
a few in South Australia as well.
A lot of them are 1 or 2 man bands.
Really? How does that work?
They just do everything, Yeah, so there's been a big history of that in black metal, like one and small projects just coming together and just for the recording. So I think we're playing a gig with the Führer, and it's now a one-man project.
Live as well?
Yeah, I think so. He posted that. Yeah.
How would he play live? Is that like he's got a laptop or something?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's a laptop.
I haven't looked at it. Like last time I saw.
Yeah, I might be wrong. I just saw that on my Facebook feed that it might be
I feel like
it might be. I think that would be cool.
I
was looking forward to it.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
I don't know. I'm gonna need to check that.
All right.
Now.
Well, I could be drunk. but yeah, so there's a lot of bands like that, and they just don't play live. So there's not too many black metal pub bands playing pubs.
Yeah. We're sorry if Alistair's just talking shit, Louis.
I might get in trouble.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So in regards to going over east, so what was the setup there? Was that to go and support a local band, or to play some of those multi-build events?
We were just talking to some of the bands about putting on a gig, so probably either supporting them or whatever. Mainly Melbourne, possibly Sydney. Yeah, COVID kind of messed it up.
Yeah.
COVID has just messed everything up. It's just so crazy that we're here in Perth, everything is pretty much just or will be back to normal. What is it, in 2 weeks or something? They're gonna lift the last
thing, but still can't get a date.
Yeah, we know.
No, that's it. So does that mean that we can now have more than 100 people at the venues? Then we can start actually filling up some proper venues.
It's on the venue still.
Yeah, I think it was 50% capacity. So some of the big venues had a bit more. Well, we had 100 through our gig. I'm not sure how many people were there at once. But that was our amplifier. So that's sort of a larger venue that can probably cope with about that.
That's a cool venue, amplifier.
Getting out in the middle of the night
yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Have you got some other favorite venues? I noticed you guys were playing. You're playing the Metal Down Under gig as well.
Yeah, playing the Civic. I haven't played the Civic yet. That'd be really cool. I've played the Den, the little side one, but not the big room.
Not the main, yeah.
We're playing the Rosemount. I've never played at the Rosemount. And that's a very iconic Perth venue.
Apparently, the sound there has been really good. I've heard quite a few of the last shows there. Apparently, the sound guy is doing a really good job.
That's good. What else? So we've done amps. That's about it. Oh, we did.
The Merriwa Tavern?
No. We love the Merriwa Tavern. There's nothing wrong with the Merriwa Tavern.
The tavern.
We did Badlands, which was really cool as well. Yeah, I like Badlands. Badlands is probably my favorite.
Yeah. Badlands is always cool. I like it too. I like that one too. It's got a cool vibe to it.
The cave stuff hanging from the walls.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, we're racking up a few gigs, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's good to have experience and fun and a story to tell.
Absolutely. I was quite impressed by your artwork cover for the EP. How did that one come up?
Our bassist did the artwork and the layout.
He showed us a couple of we talked to him about what we were thinking.
Yeah.
And he showed us a couple of drawings that he'd done previously, and we were like, "Oh yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome."
Yeah.
Something like that. And then he went away for like a month and came back with the artwork, and I was just blown away. It was insane. Like, the artwork's better than the album, in my opinion.
No, it's super cool. It's a really, really cool cover.
Yeah.
So did you say, did he draw it?
Yeah, he drew it.
Yeah, fantastic.
So he did it himself. All the inlays, all the text layout.
Yeah, he did the new text logo as well.
Yep, the new logo. So yeah, we were just blown away. I was blown away. I wasn't expecting anything that awesome. And yeah, he just knocked it out of the park.
And sort of from what I could gather on your Bandcamp site, was it true that they were all numbered? Like you had like 50 individually numbered CDs?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That is super cool, man.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that idea in this digital age we're in?
It's a classic black metal thing.
Yeah. that happens quite a bit, even less, like 5, 10, 10 tapes, and that's all you get.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If you want to be truly elite. We had 50. There's 20 left, I think. So they've gone very quickly.
Maybe a little bit less.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think less than 20.
Yeah. So that was really good. I wasn't expecting much. I don't even have a CD player, but apparently people like real things still, which is cool.
That is so. But so the actual number thing is a black metal thing.
Yeah.
It's a common thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like the 2000s, there was like a trend of bands signing their like 5 copies in blood.
Oh wow!
No, we didn't do blood, but like it was a thing like back when I was getting into metal in the day.
Cool.
Pretty sure that probably wouldn't fly these days.
No.
Yeah, and not with all the
COVID and all that. Not ideal.
Maybe fall over. I don't know.
We use a Sharpie.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who's got 50. Have we sold 50?
No, we haven't sold 50 because we've got some left.
No, I mean the number 50. I sold 49 to somebody.
Oh, so you even just said, so you just sell them sporadically.
Yeah.
They're not chronologically.
I wonder who will get 50.
Because
maybe it will be important.
We split them up between all the members so they could sell them individually, but I don't know who got what numbers.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. One day we might find out.
One day you might find your lucky number on eBay for like more than we sold. I don't know.
So other than that, so the rest of it is that just digital releases, and like so people also would buy the digital version.
Yeah, you get the digital version if you buy the CD, or you can buy the digital version. It's pay whatever you want. So
also you can download it for free as well.
You can download it for free. Yeah, you might as well. It's on YouTube and everything anyway these days, and yeah.
So, but from what I could see, I couldn't find you on. I use Apple Music myself, and I was trying to sort of search for it, and I couldn't find it. Is it on Apple Music?
The new EP hasn't come out on it yet. We have some older material on Spotify, Apple, and other streaming platforms. Yeah. So, yeah, it'll probably be there within the next week or 2.
And is that under the Dying Kings tag as well? Okay.
So, I don't know. I don't use that much, so I haven't paid much attention to it.
So, how do you listen to music? Like you mentioned, you didn't have a CD player. Like, are you streaming when you?
Yeah, a Bandcamp a lot. So I do have
cool.
I do have a Spotify, but more for casual kind of listening. But a lot of the newer stuff is from Bandcamp. I find heaps of cool bands on Bandcamp. There's a lot. There's so many, but there's so many that are really good and awesome. And yeah, Bandcamp's really cool. You can buy, straight to the band for a few bucks, and it adds it to your collection, and good to support the artists and things like that as well. For
sure. Is that something you think that more people should try and aim for rather than sort of jumping on the big streaming platforms?
My experience is it's more rewarding for the artists. Yeah. We've sold $400 worth of stuff already in the last month just on Bandcamp. I mean, not huge, but pretty cool. Not that, we care about the money, but that's great that people have wanted to, I look at it as, giving something to the artist more than buying their stuff on Bandcamp, because it's going straight to
absolutely.
Yeah, which is really nice. So I think for our style of music, Bandcamp for me is the best, and hopefully it really continues to take off.
And so how do you promote that to the fans that they can go on Bandcamp? Have you is that something you use your social media to do, or does band find it, like fans, do they find it by themselves, or how does it work?
Social media, social media. The EP is starting to get on blogs and other posts, and people who sort of focus on new artists and Bandcamp and that sort of stuff. So that's really nice. That starting to get picked up a bit outside of us. But yeah, a lot of it's just word of mouth, and people post and go, "Hey, this band's really cool," and you check it out, and there's no real algorithm promoting obscure black metal from Australia or anything like that. So,
nice.
Yeah.
But you still managed to obviously get a couple of good reviews. Is that sort of through the same area? So again, so you go out to these niche sites, or what do you do?
Some of it was us, and then some of it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people like it, and they like it.
Yeah. The promoter that helped us put on the EP launch was really nice and helped us on a few things. And we had a few other connections who knew us and were just sort of waiting. And the rest has just sort of been organic. We're not really sure where it comes from, where all the Facebook likes and how it works, and just sort of happens. So it's cool that it does.
Yeah, because that's another thing I was a bit surprised about. Is like you're not represented on many social media platforms. Like sometimes you have bands that are on pretty much any platform you can think of. They're on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and have their own website and blogs and Bandcamp and everything. And all of that is obviously a lot of upkeep, a lot of maintenance to sort of keep all those platforms running. But you guys, you guys looks like you're pretty much focusing on Facebook and Bandcamp.
Yeah, probably YouTube a little bit as we go forward, and we have a bit more video content to post on it.
Interesting.
We'll come back to probably within the next month. We'll probably release on Spotify and all of those things, through a distribution platform. But those are very big ponds, and historically we haven't gotten heaps of streams and stuff off those sort of things. So those are sort of the areas we've been focusing on so far. How it spreads though, we don't really know.
So what are you planning on putting on the YouTube channel?
We've got we're hoping to do a multi-channel, multi-shot video that we recorded at the EP launch.
Yeah.
So we laid down about 5 video recorders. So we're going to stitch that together for a sort of a pseudo music video. So Fantastic. That and just gigs and stuff as they come up, sort of thing, and possibly a music video, like a proper one, but not really sure yet.
So have you got any, based on that multi-track video you were talking about from the video launch, did you also grab the audio from the desk?
We did, but we're thinking probably we'll sync it to the studio recording.
And,
right, okay.
Yeah.
Then if we want to add something else into it, we can splice it in, kind of do whatever we want with it.
We had a few non-official YouTube channels before this. So there's a bit of live video from the early gigs floating around. So this one's probably going to be a bit more curated. We'll put more special stuff on it rather than lots of random phone recordings at gigs.
Yeah.
Which are cool. Yeah. We love those too, but there's heaps of those out there as well. So what's your take on those phone recordings? You okay with them? Yeah, awesome. Yeah. In fact, people who can't come to the gig ask people to do it, which is cool. So, they can see a little bit of what happened.
It's like every time, or most of the times when I see them, I'm like, look, it's great to see the footage, but usually the audio is so distorted and scratchy and stuff. It's very rarely sort of enjoyable to listen to. But But as long as I suppose that if you sort of did splice it up with the studio recording, if you had some good, like again, like a lot of venues have digital desks these days, so you have the option of recording that straight out of the desk. That's again like putting together those sort of really authentic live videos can also be some fantastic content to put up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Have you got any other ideas? We obviously we're going to finish off on the lyric video for Sacrificial Sun, but have you considered any other stuff like playthrough videos or behind the scenes or anything like that to maybe put up?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Possibly a playthrough or behind the scenes. Maybe next time we record. I did do a drunken Facebook playthrough once in the middle of COVID because I was bored and put a track on and played through it. But we'll wait and see how we go.
Yeah.
Cool. There was quite a few early rehearsal and gig video floating around from the earlier days, and that's still there, and that's great. But this time around, we might be a little bit more selective and yeah.
Is there like a specific sort of black metal genre thing that you do with regards to videos? Like for instance, like you mentioned before, so like people had labeled CDs and stuff like that. Is there like a black metal thing that you would do with regards to your visual content?
Yeah, you traditionally run around in the forest, maybe top of a mountain, an old castle, some fire. Fire's good. Hard in Perth, you know what I mean? What are you gonna
got the bushfire season coming up, so.
Yeah, we were going to go out in the bushfires actually. And do some photo shoots, but we didn't quite get there, and the bush regenerated really quickly.
It did.
So maybe next time there's apocalyptic bushfires, we can get a good video made.
Oh yeah, it's a daunting country to be in when it comes to fires for sure, man.
Unfortunately, I'm sure there will be many more bushfires. So
100%, yeah. But you mentioned you might be doing a music video as well.
We've had a few requests, and it has been talked about. I'm not sure. Maybe next EP.
When I'm sort of going through the footage or the pictures from your live shows, I can see like it is very sort of cinematic, like you like how you're dressed and the makeup and all that stuff. So I'd be super curious to sort of hear like what sort of black metal theme you would do for a video.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we really discussed it that much. Yeah,
hard to come up with something, keep it honest and fitting for us.
Well, you'd either do something that was really cut up, or you'd have to get somebody that was actually good at shooting videos to help you out.
I think that's what stopped us so far. Is that we'd want it to be pretty good if we were going to do it.
Yeah.
And we've kept things a bit low key up until now.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see where the next recording goes, and if it's a bit more of a involved sort of thing, it might be appropriate for that. If it's more, again, this was kind of more of a demo sort of, just put it out there as we were, a bit raw. It might not be, a slick music video might not fit it as much. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
And when were you thinking about doing a follow-up recording? Because you only just released this one a couple of weeks ago.
Got a lot of songs, so I'm hoping to record some of them. So probably we're talking mid next year. So.
Oh, okay. So it's still a while away.
Got about 8-9 months. It'll probably take us about 3 months to prepare for it. So that would give us about 6 months to write it. So that sounds like a good time frame.
Fantastic. And so next step is getting over the whole COVID, go to Japan, go to Europe. Would you still be able to catch up on those contacts?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yep.
Look, everyone's just waiting. I think we were just discussing it, and no one knows what's happening, so no one's planning anything.
That's
It's just
right.
do.
Yeah.
I think when it first started, there was a lot of talk of people were still trying to keep things organized, but it just fell away as things got deeper. So I think we just have to wait for it to settle and then start again and really sort of see where everyone's at after that. But yeah, everyone's just waiting. So yeah.
Have you got any other places that would be on like a bucket list or a wish list to go and play?
Well, Japan would be bucket list.
Japan would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, would be great. Europe would be great as well.
England.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Yeah. Anywhere would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even over east would be great.
Yeah.
So across Australia would be awesome as well.
But is there a really specific place in the world where black metal is probably blooming a bit more than others? Like somewhere?
Europe's is probably the home. So we were getting responses from Europe to go there because they thought that would go down quite well. And we had contacts in Europe who were more along the lines of those scenes. So it's a bit harder and more expensive. So we'll wait and see how that pans out.
Yeah, it's just about getting all the logistics lined up correctly, and But as you said yourself, which again is a beautiful expression, it's like a holiday with concerts, a holiday with gigs.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you look at it that way, you're definitely not going to be disappointed because there'll be a lot of really cool experiences there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, holiday is good anyway.
Yeah, and I was like, who wouldn't want to go to Europe to begin with, and then go there and throw in a couple of cool gigs.
Yeah, perfect.
So would you have the opportunity to play at Wacken, or was that just a part of the competition?
Oh, it was a competition.
It was a competition. I'm not sure who won it. I think they had to cancel the series, and they just nominated somebody who won. I'm not quite sure what happened with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it was like on the end of COVID.
Yeah, it was just really right at the end, so I'm not quite sure who happened. Nothing like that in the short term. So a lot of it would be smaller, more intimate gigs, which is great and fine. So a lot of it is just hooking up with other bands and stuff who, we know and have contacts with from the past.
But that's still so cool, man. Like if you can go and just make a couple of sort of smaller side gigs happen.
Yeah, we've got 3, 4, 5 gigs in the next 4 months. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's going to be a busy time.
Give us a shout out for a couple of upcoming gigs. Okay. Obviously the Metal Down Under, but tell us about the gigs.
Metal Down Under. Then we got Hornography on the Halloween Friday.
Yeah, Halloween Hornography special.
Yeah, and then we've got the HQ gig. Is that on there?
Oh yeah, we've got an all ages gig.
Yeah,
that's our first all ages gig.
Yeah.
It's the first all ages gig I've seen in a while. So that'll be really cool. Then we're supporting Infected at the Rosemount, which is really exciting because I'm old and was an Infected fan when I was a little kid. Like all ages, go into all ages Infected gigs right at the start. And then we've got our own gig which we're organising. What's that? Rosie's. Lucy's Love Shack in January, which is still to be announced in terms of lineup and stuff like that. That'll be a bit of a black and deathy sort of more obscure gig, which is nice because we like to put those on and play with those occasionally.
It's in the works.
Yeah,
awesome. And where should people head over if they want to sort of keep on top? If you want to shout out for your Facebook page.
Facebook.
Yep.
What's that book? Dying Kings AU?
Dying King 666. Dying King 666.
666.
Just search Dying Kings, something like that.
It's like the first thing that comes up in a Google search anyway if you type it in the
I
Facebook
think
search.
it comes up for us,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, just that. If they're in Perth or something, they'll probably find us.
Before we round off, I've got this thing I usually ask everybody on the show about as well, is and that is if you've got any sort of tips and tricks, anything you've done based on your experience that has worked well for you, any tips or tricks you'd like to share with any bands or any other out there.
The only thing I would say, we had a little bit of issues with some other bands and stuff in Perth a little while ago, which we won't go into. The only thing I would say is to everyone, look, it's we're all just doing what we enjoy doing. It's a small town. We're here in Perth. Let's just enjoy it and get along. You know, we don't need any issues or negativity or anything like that. And just, go out, have fun, enjoy yourself, support each other, and let's just do that. That's
Be
all.
nice to each other. Be kind.
Yeah, I think some people can take it all a bit seriously.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
it's just, I'm not downplaying it or anything, but it's just it's Perth, and we're all just doing it because we really enjoy what we're doing. So just keep everything in perspective and have a good time, and be nice to everyone.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose that sort of goes for life in general. Like,
Definitely.
just be a nice person.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to finish off here on Sacrificial Sun, which is your lyric video that you have out. So if I can get you to introduce that and tell us a little bit about the song.
This is our single Sacrificial Sun from the EP Salted Earth, Ashen Air. It's about working yourself into the ground, but it also tags a little bit on environmental issues and just the destruction of the world around us.
Excellent, man. Well, I will put that on now, and we'll finish off on the lyric video there. And obviously, people can head over to Facebook, Dying King 666, or over to Dying Kings on Bandcamp and support you guys, and maybe buy CD number 50 if it's still for sale.
It could still be done. And Metal Down Under, Metal United Down Under.
Yep. So head over to your Facebook page and stay up to scratch with the upcoming gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hello Scream by Pornography.
Yeah, this month. It's going to be a big month.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. And we'll finish off here on Sacrificial Sun.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.